Plaintiff Stacy Stricker met the defendant 25 years ago, and they recently reconnected on social media. Stacy claims after she refused to have sex with the defendant, he sent her several degrading text messages, which she has in court. She's suing him for concert tickets and 2 hotel rooms. Defendant Jeff Richardson says when he and Stacy reconnected, they were both sending flirty text messages to each other. Jeff claims once they saw each other in person, he knew there was no chemistry, and he denies owing her for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I'm here actually because the defendant pursued me, and upon being rejected for sex, he proceeded to send me nasty, degradable texts.
Okay. When did you all meet, and under what circumstance?
We met about 25 years ago when I attended college in the town that he lived in.
Mm-hmm. Did you all rekindle a friendship some years later on?
He had sent me a friend request on Facebook, and about 6 months ago or so, I accepted his friend request and then started conversating with him, first through Facebook Messenger, and then we exchanged phone numbers and through text.
Okay. And what type of things was he saying?
The previous text that he had been sending me about the fact that he wished I was his wifey and wanting to cuddle with him. And I have several other degrading
and you
texts.
didn't like for him saying, well, it's not degrading to ask if he could cuddle with you. That should make you feel good when a woman says, Judge, I want to cuddle. I'll at least feel good. I won't be offended. I'll be like, I still got it. But my point is, ma'am, and I'm getting to this. Now, the first time he says something untoward, in your opinion, why did you continue a friendship?
These actually came after I refused to have sex. He said that I could have sex with him 3 days in Vegas. The degrading text did not start until after we had agreed to go on 2 trips together. Actually, I'll read for you one of his text messages. Stop stroking your ego, painting a picture that I was into you. Geez, I would have you. Yes, I can admit that. Big deal, I'm a guy. After a few beers, I would have you. Sex, pure sex. I've had sex with plenty of women I wasn't into. Let me be clear. I was trying to be diplomatic, but since you're being such a bee, I'm going to be brutally honest. It's laughable to think I was into you. And I have several other ones that after, these all came, and I have not responded back to them.
They all came after what you're suing for today, after this?
Yes.
Okay. Before that, though, he never sent you any?
Everything would be fine. He would send me texts such as, like I said, you know, I wish you were my wifey. He drifted, made me think that we could have a great American love story. 2 people met as kids, reconnected later. And I had made it very clear from the very beginning, I'm in grad school, I have a lot on my plate, I don't have time to date.
Sir, you give me some background on this.
Your Honor, everything that she's saying out of context. She's not letting you know the way that everything unfolded. First of all, the way that she's describing everything, the e-text that she's telling you about, the flirting, the wifey, those happened prior to us meeting in person. I hadn't seen her in 25 years. We had started texting for about 2 or 3 months prior to planning the trip. So both of us, and she's not telling you what she said to both of us, she would say things like, you know, this is really cool talking to each other. You know, I look forward to getting texts from you, things like that. After we met in person, all the stuff she's talking about was before we met in person. When we met in person, when I went to Kansas City for the first concert, within 2 minutes, I knew there was no chemistry between either one of us. I felt she didn't feel that way, and neither did I. So I said,
after the concert, you felt
No, before the concert. We went to dinner before the concert. It was cordial, it was polite, it wasn't unpleasant. We talked about work, kids, things like that. Again, I knew there was no chemistry. I felt she felt the same way. I'm like, you know what, I'm here, I drove 3 hours, I'm gonna just enjoy the concert, have a good time, make the most of it, and go home. So that's what we did. We went to the concert. It was a concert that I had went to help her out because one of her friends had stood her up. After we went to the concert on that Friday night, we were going to my high school reunion on Saturday. I told her on that Saturday morning in 2 different text messages, very respectfully, very politely, I said, hey, you know what? You're a nice person. There just was no chemistry last night. I don't want you to go to the reunion. We were going to drive back 3 hours.
I have the actual text that he sent about that.
Okay.
It was more about the fact that I have the option not to go.
Okay, let's see it.
So
Here,
the
let me look.
option.
I've got
Let me
30
read the
pages,
text
so
that
hold
you
on a
made
second.
reference to.
He sent it to me while I was in the shower. So back at Up a Night before this, we got to the hotel after the concert, and when I booked the hotel room, I got 2 different beds, and he asked me why I was not in bed cuddling with him at the time. But when I was in the shower the next morning, he
agreed
sent
as
me
always
that.
to be open and honest with each other. You aren't obligated to go to this reunion. I know you were very concerned about this just remaining platonic, and for me, it definitely has remained platonic. I enjoyed the conversation and the concert so much, but I almost felt like I was with a dude at the concert.
Because I had no interest.
Right. That's what that means.
So
sir.
if I was interested, why would I say that? I was not interested after I met her.
Tell me about the concert tickets and the cost of the hotel rooms you're suing them for.
So I did have a friend who at the last minute was not able to go, and so she had a ticket, and she was either going to sell the ticket, and I said I would like to find someone who could go so I could go with someone instead of going to the concert by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I paid her. He agreed to go, so I paid her for her ticket. So, because he, in a text message, which I do have, said that he would pay for the concert ticket. And then, since we were going back to his class reunion, my plan was to stay with my son, who lives in Kansas City. We were not going to be able to stay with my son that night, so we got a hotel room partway back to Nebraska that we were going to split the hotel costs, which I also have a copy of that. When we got to the
You intend
hotel,
to have double beds or something?
it had double beds because I booked it. And at the hotel, he said, I don't have cash with me. Are you okay with me paying you tomorrow when we can get to an ATM, and I'll pay you for the concert and the hotel room tomorrow when we get back to Lincoln? I said, no problem. I have no problem with that at all.
Okay. And what did happen when you got back?
I have not had any exchange of money.
Okay. Sir, I'm here from you.
I'm blown away. Absolutely. First of all, Your Honor, she double dipped. What she told me, as far as the concert ticket, she told me that her friend and her were planning to go to this concert. She told me that she had put both of their tickets on the card and that her friend had paid her for them. Her friend had already paid her for the concert. She charged me for the concert ticket, even though she'd already been paid by her friend. That's exactly what she told me.
She charged you? Okay.
As far as the
how
hotel,
much did she charge you?
When I got there, I had a wad of money. I think she didn't even tell me how much the concert ticket was. When I came,
I have
Quiet,
evidence.
man.
I believe.
Quiet. He's the one that told me you charged him, so I'm sure he knows the number that he's referring to, or somewhere thereabout.
I don't remember. I don't remember how much
you don't
she
remember
said.
how much
I
she
gave her
charged
$65 when we got to the concert. I gave her $65. So as far as so she had been paid already by her friend. She told me that. I looked at it like,
Sir,
why?
we're going with what you agreed to.
Correct.
And as you just said, you agreed to give her some money, and you did,
And I did.
for the concert
I did.
ticket. So it's irrelevant what she did with her friend.
Okay.
We're going on the agreement the two of
Absolutely.
you made.
Absolutely.
So you put $65 down, you
I
think
disagree.
about that amount on the ticket you agreed to pay for. And then what?
Absolutely. So as far as the hotel that she booked, it's a 3-hour drive from the hotel back to my hometown. We had discussed before whether we were going to stay in Kansas City after the concert or whether we were going to drive back. I wanted to drive back. I told her I'd go to concerts in Kansas City all the time. I'd drive back the same day. It's a 3-hour drive. The concert was going to end at 10. I'd get home about 1. She told me, no, I'm a light drinker. I don't drink very much. I plan to have some drinks at the concert, and I'd rather get a hotel and stay. I had nothing to do with the hotel. I was perfectly fine with driving back home. She did all that. She didn't tell me how much the room was. She didn't say where we were staying. She just said, no, we'll just stay. I didn't want to stay in the room because that meant that we would have to wake up.
You didn't stay, did you?
No. So I'm sorry.
You didn't stay in the room then?
Yeah, no, I did.
You said you didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to. I did, but she was.
Okay, and
she's
you all
asking-
rode together. So
No, we didn't. We rode separate.
So why wouldn't you just drive back? Why wouldn't you leave?
She's charging me for a room that she wanted to get.
No, if you don't go into it and you drive back, clearly you don't owe anything. You say, hey, I know you say you don't like to drive because you're drinking. I know you say you want to stay at the hotel, but I don't want to stay at that hotel. Before you even agree. She just mentions it. That's when you cut that off. Nope, not doing it. Ain't staying in no hotel.
If
Your
you
Honor,
would
can
like
I
to
say
see
something?
But
the-
instead, you stayed.
Can I say the last thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as far as this too, basically what this boiled down to, she invited me to an event, I invited her to an event. To the event that she invited me to, it cost me a lot of money out of pocket. The event that I invited her to, I paid for everything. She's not accounting for that. So
all of that is a beautiful thing. What we are going over is the agreement. You agreed to pay for the ticket. You didn't?
I did.
Then why are you shaking your head no? Why are you shaking your head no?
I gave her money for that.
What do you have? Let me get him out here
I
quick.
have him not agreeing to the hotel and how much he did not know that the concert tickets were for. And then I also have him asking me to go to his class reunion, that it would be an honor.
I need to see where he agreed to pay and how much. I see something here. You ask, are you coming to the concert? He says, yes, ma'am. Then he says, how much are the tickets? You say $80. And I see something that says it's $120 with taxes, so $60 a piece.
That's the hotel room.
Okay.
And right above that is where he's objecting to stay in the hotel room, I guess.
But
when
then
he
again,
says,
we probably won't get out of the concert till 11 with traffic. So planning to stay probably is the wisest.
Your Honor, there's
No. Did you say this? Okay. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. He agreed to stay. He agreed to use the ticket. He even paid you a portion of it. Have a good day.